Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to a bit of Hardcore Iron Man. Not too much into that actually, because I'm actually on my main here, but also a further delving into the new release of The Lost Grove. Like I had said, I'm going to start doing videos that fully explore the newest update combined with Hardcore Iron Man, a few other things as well. But right now, I mainly want to go over the combat system within the Lost Grove, and then towards the end of that part, I want to go into the new DandD, and so on and so forth. Now, I have tried fighting all three of the creatures now, and I gotta say, the Moss Golem one, which is also the highest level one, I believe, the highest level requirement one, I believe, seems to actually be the easiest one to fight. For now. Because they could very easily change it. They could change this safe spot up here where it's no longer the case. But if you are fighting any of these things, if you are wondering, okay, well, should I use a legendary pet? Should I use a summons? How should you go about that one? And the easiest way to put that one is use a summons. Preferably, if you're doing these guys here, something with a distance kind of projectile type attack, whether it be magic or range type summons. For you, of course, you wouldn't be using magic, but they don't have any long range attacks currently. So right now would actually be a very good time to be fighting the Moss Golems. So these are actually pretty good to fight. Now I will say I had tried some of the others. The one, while it was kind of nice to fight, I'll go through it and I'll show you guys. I just want to show you guys a little bit of the combat with these guys before I really went off and did something else. I gotta say, these guys, like I'm showing you right now, they're not bad. And I'm using the Luck of the Dwarves and the Leprechaun hat to try to make sure I can get the full amount of luck possibilities that I currently possess. The only thing that's going to get me something better yet is if I can get the Hazelmere Signet, which that'll be quite a while. But those guys are pretty easy. So it should be no problem for you guys. Just do like I was doing, stand back, fight them that way. It'll make it a lot easier for you. Now I want to go up. Here's a little bit of the lore, which is the reminiscence or reminisce ruins. Oh, ruins. If you want to, you can actually talk to it, and I don't know if there's a cutscene that's supposed to be happening here, but you kind of get some dialogue. I think eventually they will probably have a cutscene there, which I really hope they do, because it's really potentially something very interesting. And I have a feeling eventually you'll be able to get down to here. We'll have a way, and this might be something dealing with Hunter eventually, because there is a bunch of mossy rocks down there, so there's probably going to be something down there eventually. I have a feeling that the initial release is not the only release that's going to be happening. There is probably going to be more stuff. Now, the bulbous crawlers, I did fight them, and I did fight them with melee. And I will say, they still hit incredibly hard. They do have a poisonous attack. However, their poison attack works a lot like the wyverns, where their poison is not protected from stuff like the Venom Blood perk. Now, whether this is an error or not, it is the case. So, never noticed that before. So yeah, they can hit very hard. The Venom Blood perk doesn't work. The poison purge aura does not work, so their poison attack will not heal you, but they do hit extremely hard. So do keep that in mind. They're probably one of the hardest things in here to actually fight. So I would, if you can, avoid fighting the bulbous crawlers. Unless you're really big into hard fighting and you have a lot of combat packed down to a T. I'm not quite at that proficiency level with them yet, so I just can say that they're really hard to fight. Ah, here's a mossy rock. One I can actually pick up. So, here's probably actually another secret. Because we just seen the headless golem. And he was just back this way. This is actually something I was not planning. So the question is he still around? And you guys will get to see what happens if you find the mossy rock and use it with the headless golem. Which, I'm not seeing him now. The little bugger wandered off. Well, hopefully I see him as I'm exploring it. But just something further for you guys to keep an eye out whenever you are here is try to keep an eye out for that mossy rock. And then, who knows, maybe the reward is quite substantial. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's Maybelline. I couldn't resist a corny joke. Alright. So I'm not going to worry too much about finding him right now because he could be anywhere within the island, unfortunately. But these little guys, they're really nice to fight. I would strongly suggest if you do want to fight any, these would be the ones to fight. Okay, now as far as the DandD goes, the weekly DandD, it's actually extremely simple. I'm sure as you guys have seen, like that wisp right there, there's a bunch of wisp all over the place. And whenever you are doing the Wisp of the Groves, you'll notice that there is different color mushrooms right by her. So once you get it started, the color of these mushrooms will change. And you actually have to get them from west to east in that order. So like right now, I'd have to get a green wisp, then blue, then yellow, then green, then red. That would be the order. I don't actually think I need to get the red toadstool. I think it's only the 4 that are shining. So I think it's only those 4 right there. So I'd have to get it in that order, and it'll actually tell you when it is full. And then what you do is you bring the wisp back here, talk to her, and then she will give you the potion, and you take it to the orb right towards the center, which I'll show you guys here just in a second. Because the orb is actually very close. And yes, you can actually walk down here and into this spot. And I would imagine quite safely too, because I believe Solik, even whenever he is released, is going to be right through there. So right here is where you can give the offering, which makes that pretty simple. And if you haven't explored this area yet, I would strongly recommend it. And for you, some of you guys out there, there is a little bit of a tribute there. If you guys have heard of the band Linkin Park, the lead singer, I believe, Chester, had sadly taken his own life, and they actually put a tribute in there naming the wisp Chester. So that is pretty neat. But up here you also have a enchanted soil. And then right down here we have more creatures you can fight, which these are weak to range, so you can guess that these are magic-based creatures right here. So that means they will have a projectile attack, which means you are in danger of being hit. And they can hit quite hard as well. So do keep that in mind. But once the rework does come, well, the combat rework comes, which if you guys had heard my combat talk before, you know there is a combat rework in the mix. It's not a huge one, but it is huge at the same time, if that makes any sense. Because right now they are weak to actually bow and arrow, as is simple has shown. And yeah, so you will actually need to use in the future bow and arrow if you want to get your maximum damage output from those guys, well, on those guys, sorry. But that's actually pretty well it. I really was hoping to be able to find this magic headless golem before the end of the video, but I don't want to keep you guys too long. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to try to find them, and then I'm going to cut part of this video out. So I'll see you guys just in a little bit. Where'd this little guy go? Well, see, I know he didn't leave the island. Well, he can't leave the island.